Hello and welcome everyone to episode 53 of the JRPG Report podcast. My name is James Fisher. We want to welcome in all you guys to the podcast. I want to take a special shout out to those of you who have liked and are now following me on YouTube. We're trying to do some live streams out that way, different video content, and much more. So if you haven't got a chance, you're already listening to this podcast, so just go on over to JRPG Report. There's a whole channel there on YouTube with some of my past videos, and we're working on some new stuff all the time. So give us a like and subscribe for new stuff. I would really appreciate it. But on to the podcast. We don't have a ton of stuff to talk about, but we've got a few news stories, and I want to do my part to pub up the upcoming re-release HD edition of Trails of Cold Steel Legend of Heroes. We'll have that at the end. But first, as you're listening to this, it'll be live and out. There is now the Dissidia Final Fantasy NT edition is now free to play. That's on PS4 and PC via Steam. Now, you only have a rotation of 4 characters to play with. You do have the option of buying additional characters or weapons, or just the game outright. But it is a full version of that game that you can play for free. Of course, if you want to play online on PlayStation 4, you do need PS Plus. But kind of a cool idea. It's certainly not something that I really want to get into, not really my cup of tea. But the mere fact that they have released such an edition is a pretty cool gesture. I mean, there's nothing wrong with free, right? You can't hurt anybody. A new game that we've not talked about before, and it is coming to the Switch and PC this summer, is a turn-based RPG called Mistover. If you are attending or be looking out for some footage from PAX East, you will see it in action. Looks like a pretty cool game. It definitely, from an artistic style, it definitely looks like Battle Chasers, but maybe a menu system a little more representative of like a Persona 5, with a that 2D look to it. Your party is on the left, the monster is on the right. Has a very, very cool look. Don't really know a ton about it, but something that we're going to be keeping an eye on. It definitely has my interest. It says it contains 40 hours of expeditions and 5 distinct reasons. Turn-based RPG with a twist. It can change based on your actions, that the maps are always changing. Practice different strategies in order to survive. You can build an invincible core by combining and strategizing with 8 different core classes. And it's talking about the mist of the vortex. It affects and influences everything that happens in the game. So we're looking forward to that one. Like I said, that's coming out this summer in PAX East in Boston from March 29th to 31st. We'll have a playable version, so I anticipate to see some gameplay come out after that wraps up. We talked about Ni no Kuni 2, the second DLC to come out for the Tale of the Timeless Tome, and we got a whole trailer to kind of dissect what's going on with that. That is coming out on March the 19th, and I will just read you what is exactly going on. Actually, let's go to this. They broke it down pretty well. So you've got character episodes that dive into each character's past. We kind of knew that was going on. There's some really cool stuff. Now I like this idea. There are now called High Higgledies, and they basically look like souped up battle ready versions of your regular Higgledies. They are said to be reliable partners in battle. They will fight alongside you as reassuring allies. Very cool. The new martial methods, the Wizard's Companion and Martha's Method. I think we spoke briefly about those before. There are new enemies. They're called the Nightmares. They are villainous new enemies feared even by the conductor. They are not only dreadful in appearance, as their name implies, but their strength is also nightmare level. And so going along with that, there is the Nightmare Lord. He's a troublesome enemy that storms the field and uses dreadful magic. It's important to dodge his heavy attack and get in attack when you can. There's the Nightmare Crow. Oh, that's evil looking. He has ranged attacks, and this enemy is not easy to defeat. When it enters rage mode, it angers out of control. We talked about the new battle arena, the Solosium Slog. It's a battle arena with randomly generated battles set against the clock. A series of high difficulty battles await. Depending on your rank, which is determined by your clear time, you can receive prizes from one of 5 classes. There's new equipment. It says there's over 100 types of new weapons to discover. And point number 7 asks, what are the conductor's expectations? He appears in Evan's dreams, and what are his intentions? So yeah, it was pretty cool to get a little more detail on, like I said, there is a video for that. If you check out the JRPG Report YouTube page, let's say tomorrow, whatever day you're listening to it today, check it out tomorrow, and I will try to have that up for you guys and some commentary about what we are looking at. So cool stuff there for sure. Like I said before, I'm not wanting to just jump right back into it, but it is something that I am curious about. Maybe, a day that there's a lull and want to go back into it. As we remember, I wasn't super impressed with it to begin with, so it's not one of those games I want to jump back into. I guess kind of like Final Fantasy 15. I wasn't totally in love with that game and did not play the subsequent DLC that comes out with it. This is kind of the same idea. Anyway, on to our next story. I do have a video for this one over on the YouTube page. This is the Oscillator Lalula Collector's Edition. So here's what you're getting, and you can order this for $99.99 from the NIS America online store. Of course, you get a copy of the game for PS4 or the Switch. You choose whatever version you want. You get the hardcover Lalula and the Alchemist of Arlen Memorial Art Book, the official Sound Archive soundtrack. I believe there's 22 tracks to that, if I'm not mistaken. You get a pretty decent-sized cloth poster of Lalula on there. You get 2 acrylic keychains, one of Lalula and one, I believe, of her mom, Marona. And you get the collector's edition box, which is a pretty decent size to it. Of course, the game is due out for PS4 and Switch March 20th in Japan, PS4, Switch, and PC March 21st in North America. And I'm sorry, it's in March for Japan. We get it on May 21st in North America, May 24th in Europe. So that's a pretty cool, I'd say it's a fairly decent value for it. You're talking $40 for all that extra. So not too shabby, really. This is just for the Japanese collector's edition, but we did get the Fire Emblem 3 House collector's limited edition details. Nothing, this we have seen plenty of times in the past that Japan's version of collector's editions are different from America's. But this may give you a kind of idea what to look forward to. Of course, you get the game, you get the Fodlan Air art book, which is 128 pages of illustrations. You get the 3 Houses sound selection, and that is 33 tracks featuring background music from the game. You get the Switch card case steelbook. Very cool looking artwork to that by Kazuma Kuda. And it all comes in a big box. Comes out for the Switch worldwide on July 26th. So I anticipate we will see ours here fairly soon. It's a very good size box, and it's a very nice package. So I hope that we get something similar to that when it finally does come out. Xbox One owners that were looking forward to RPG Maker MV, well, you're going to get it for another system. That has actually been canceled for the Xbox One version. Now, PS4 and Switch are still coming out. Set no definitive release date, but there is. It is supposed to come out sometime in 2019. Originally, this game was delayed, and this delay only kind of makes things go a lot further. It was really it just said for various circumstances, and I believe interest would probably be one of those. It just doesn't seem like something that's really the market for Switch owners. But it's sad news if you were looking forward to it, and that's all that you own. That is that kind of stinks. We are getting the Alliance Alive HD Remaster coming to the West this fall. It will be released in North America and Europe, both physically and digitally, for PS4 and Switch, and PC via Steam, alongside its Japanese release this fall. Publisher NIS America announced. There will be an Awakening edition, which includes a copy of the game, the 9 Night Ravens cutout paper dolls. You get the art book, soundtrack CD, and collector's box. That collector's edition is going for $64.99. So if you guys have played that one before, or if you're looking forward to this one, I never got to play it the first time, so pretty happy about this game coming out in a new shiny edition, and maybe this fall I'll get a chance to pick it up. Those of you guys playing God Eater 3, there is a update coming out 1.20 that will be out March the 15th. You are getting new origami, a certification mission, new skin tones for your character, password protection for your assault missions, new NPC costumes, new hairstyles, and accessories, and balance updates. So if you've been enjoying that one and you're like, hey, this isn't right, so maybe this update will address that. And as far as I know, that is all free. So that is definitely cool stuff. A game I've not got a chance to play yet for mobile or tablet is the another Eden, The Cat Beyond Time and Space. It's funny. We picked up an old iPad Air refurbished off of Amazon for our daughter to play, to save our phones a little bit. And it was also my intention to download a couple of games like this one and get to play it. And it doesn't leave her hands for very long. And certainly not long enough for me to play a game. But I almost downloaded it last night. And I was actually reading some of the reviews, and while if you look on the iTunes store, this has a 4.9 average review rate. But then when you kind of dive into it a little bit, there are some reviews that seems like the ones that were just automatic 5 stars hadn't played it for very long. And like most mobile games, it does have limitations the longer that you play it. It's a free game, so they've got to make money somehow. I believe some people have this expectations that because it's a free game, that you should never ever have to pay anything for it. And in my opinion, if you're enjoying a game and you've gotten a good value out of it and you want to play it more, then you should support the developers at least a little bit. Now, some of the things I was reading was the currency's a little out of whack for what you're buying, but visually the game looks super impressive. It is something that I want to definitely check out. But anyway, the reason why I'm talking about it is that they claim that they have topped the 1 million download mark in the US, Canada, Australia, and Asia. Version 1.1.5 is now available, which is really not bad. The game has been out for just a little bit over a month and a half. And I believe those to celebrate the milestone, they said that users who log in between March the 13th and the 19th can receive 50 Chronos stones each day. I believe those are very, very valuable things. So if you haven't already checked it out, you can do that and get some Chronos stones each day. And this one just broke today. The Persona Q2 New Sim and Labyrinth story trailer came out, and it's pretty cool. I'm still on the fence about this series in general on the 3DS. It's hard enough to play games on that console, to be quite honest. But this one would certainly be one that I would like to take a chance at. Of course, it has it basically centers around Joker and the cast from Persona 5, but you've also got everybody from 3 and 4, including the heroine from the PSP portable version of Persona 3. Kind of a cool looking game. It is, of course, it came out last November in Japan, due out in the Americas and Europe on June 4th. So Persona fans have something to look forward to on their portable little system come June. I guess it's a little surprising that they are still making 3DS games. Why they wouldn't polish this one up and put it out on the Switch, I'm not quite sure of. That would have been nice. It would have made me a little bit more excited about this title. Let's put it that way. But it is there's a huge installed base for 3DS, so I can't argue with them against putting out this title. Just maybe down the road we'll get maybe 1 and 2 on a Switch version. That's my hope anyway. The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel HD remake will be here March the 26th. I just want to talk about the top reasons why I'm looking forward to and why you should be looking forward to this great game. Trails of Cold Steel is not the first in the Trails of series of games, but it might be the one that you know the best. It was how I got introduced to this series, and just let me say, you don't have to have played the other ones in order to play this one. Yes, you do have to play 1 and 2 in order to play Part 3 coming out this fall, but you would gain from have played the other ones for sure, but don't feel like you had to have played the other titles in the Trails of the Sky or the Crossbell series. You are going to fall in love with this game like I have. The first time I played it on PS3, or when I played it the second time on Vita, and now I'm going to play it a third time. So here's some of the things that I just want you guys to know, that not only is this an HD remake, but there are some bonuses coming along with it as well. You do now have the option to play with the Japanese voices instead of the English voices. If you choose to play in English, there's been approximately 50% more added English voiceovers. That's a big deal because, especially when I was playing on the Vita, it seemed like in particular there was a big lack of voice acting. It was more inconsistent, I guess, than anything else. Things that you would think would be voice acted were not. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more voice acting in this one. Now, that's not it. There is that fast forward option for you guys that want to just speed through it. You get the soundtrack with 21 songs. You get the 50 Mira Collector's Coin Edition. You get the awesome Steelbook case. That's certainly something to look forward to. It does have cross save as well, so if you upload your save from either Vita or PS3 to the cloud, you can pick up right where you guys left off at. I believe all the DLC is going to be available from the start as well, kind of like they did with Tales of Vesperia with all the costumes available. So I wasn't thrilled about the price point at $49.99 when it came out, but you are getting quite a bit for it, and you're getting a great turn-based game. And that is where I feel that this game shines the brightest. They've really managed to make a turn-based battle system that is inspired by other ones, but very unique. You do have the ability to move on the battlefield. You have your regular attacks, just attack, one-on-one enemies for the most part. But your special attacks, all your magic, all your moves, they all either have a radius circle attack to them or a line attack to them or all. There is a fair amount of strategic thinking that goes into this battle system. It's not just, hack and slash away. You can catch enemies off balance and use link attacks. There's all-out attacks. It's a very satisfyingly deep battle system that I think once you guys get into, you're really going to appreciate. One of the best things about that battle system is the Arcus units that each character has. So think of it a little bit like materia from Final Fantasy VII. Each character has basically one master element that goes into it, and then supporting elements. So your master one kind of sets the table for what you want that character to develop as, and then let's say they have like 7 smaller ones that you open up through the course of the game. You level these things up. So you can't just equip a ton of special abilities and spells to each character. You really got to think about how you want to develop that character, what its strengths are, what its weaknesses are that you want to, account for, as well as your magic users. You can't just load them up with the strongest spells or healing abilities. You really got to think about what you're going to do with these units. And it's very satisfying because it's not overwhelming at all. It's at a number that's very accessible. I really enjoy that. Outside the battle system, you have this whole nother aspect to it. It's going to be compared to Persona 5, the Persona series, in terms of the school setting and the social links, but it's also different because you only have a certain amount of bonding points to do on your days off. You still have tasks to do, but you can't, let's say you've got 2 bonding points to spend on the day, but there's 5 or 6 different characters that you could spend them with. So you choose which stories you want to develop more, and when you do that, you also increase your link levels, which are open up new special attacks and the like. So you definitely want to think about where you're going to spend those points at and whose stories you want to develop more. The story, is kind of a military theme. It's definitely a world at war. And these young kids are at a military academy, kind of grooming themselves to become officers and fighters in this war to come. So you've got this you can feel it's small at first. You're kind of just a kid at school, but then you kind of see there's a big world out there, and it's complicated, and you're going to have a role to play in it. The characters are very well done, and yes, you get to know them on a day-to-day basis, but what this story does really brilliantly is once a month you go on a field trip, and usually you're going to go to the hometown of somebody that's in your party. And so you learn so much more about that character just by these school trips. Even though it's a little odd to be sending teenagers on random train trips, by themselves across the country each month, you kind of just got to look past that. It is a little humorous. I guess it's just the sum of the whole makes this game really stand out. And you can get into it now. Part 2 comes out in May. Part 3 comes out this fall. I think it's a series that if you've not played it, you're really gonna enjoy it. And the best analogy I can make with it is this team, Nihon Falcom. They've been doing this for a while now. This is not their first game. Think about it this way. Did anybody know who Atlas was before Persona 1? Or even when Persona 1 and Persona 2 came out on the PlayStation? Nobody knew who they were. Nobody played those games. But they were refining their craft. They were getting better. So by the time Persona 3 came out, a few more people like myself took notice. By the time Persona 4 came out, they made a masterpiece. And now everybody knows who Atlas is. And I feel like Nihon Falcom is taking that exact same route to where they've made a bunch of games. They're now remastering these games. Part 3 and Part 4 are already out in Japan, or 4 is coming out soon. So the West is just getting ready to really explode and get onto this new JRPG maker. And I really hope that you guys get on board with it too. If you're at all weary about it and really want to see what it's like, I'm going to get this thing first day. Check out my YouTube channel. I'll be live streaming it, so you'll have a chance to check it out. I'm sure I won't be the only one, but I'm going to have all those videos up for you guys to check out as well, so I invite you to do the same. Well, that's about all I got to talk about this week. We'll maybe have a few more things next week. And let me know what you think about the podcast, about the YouTube page. Head on over to the Facebook JRPG Report page and drop us a line. Let us know how things are going. But that'll do it for episode 53. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, guys, get back out there and level up.